Hey, what's going on, beautiful Jellyfish? It's Tracy, and today I'm going to be doing my second video of Dominaria. I'm going to be talking about blue cards in this video. I have already done white cards, and I pretty much, like, I have a set over, I should have mentioned this in the first video, but I have a set overview playlist where I do basically the same thing for a ton of other sets. So this is going to be talking about blue cards. I have to say, I'm honestly not going to be talking about that many cards. I was looking through blue and it really doesn't impress me in this set. It's honestly, I think, really underwhelming. So blue hasn't really impressed me in this set. I just think it's very underwhelming, especially after talking about white cards. I'm like, I think white cards are bomb. I always feel like blue is a good support color, but I feel like it's very difficult in a lot of sets to make blue your primary color, just because I feel like a lot of the cards, the creatures are kind of like, okay, they don't have a lot of like early game creatures. I feel like early game threats, because blue's trying to do different types of things, and a lot of the instants and sorceries I'm just not a huge fan of. Like, I don't think counter spells are very good in limited, but these were a handful of cards that I do think are pretty solid, but so far blue not really impressing me. The first card I want to talk about is Naru Meha Master Wizard. Okay, I'm just going to say, if you're doing Wizard Tribal, this card's for you. Card's awesome. So it's a 4 mana 3/3 flash. Hello, that's freaking sweet. When this enters the battlefield, you copy target instant or sorcery spell you control, and you may choose new targets for that spell. I think this is really sweet. I think there's a lot of really awesome things that you can get with this. And you do have the, it does have the other ability, other wizards you control get +1/+1. I think this is really cool. Just looking at the flash ability, and other wizards get +1/+1, like if someone's trying to kill something and they do like 2 damage to it, for example, but then you're like, oh, flash this in, you know, that thing that was a 2/2 was now a 3/3, so you can't kill it, which I think is really fantastic. So overall, very impressed by this card. I think it's very fantastic. So card's really cool. Then we have Tempest Djinn. Is that how we pronounce it? I'm not too sure. I think this card's pretty sweet. So it's triple blue. It's a 0/4 flyer, and it gets +1/+0 for each basic island you control. I think this is going to be a house in limited, because you don't really have like a lot of specialty lands. You know, you're going to be running like a ton of basics. And I think this card is really sweet and can get really big really quickly. And you can have like a 7/4 for 3 mana with flyer, which like I just think is bomb.com. And I look at it pretty much how, if you're casting this for triple blue, you probably have like 2 or 3 or potentially even more islands. So I think getting that, you know, off the bat, it's pretty much gonna be like a 2/4 or a 3/4 for 3 mana, which is really amazing. I think this card's sweet. Okay, then we have Naban, Dean of Iteration. Okay, this card is pretty cool. It's a 2 mana 2/1. If a wizard entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability, you trigger it twice. I think this in the wizard tribal cards, like if you are just doing like sealed and you just get a ton of wizards cards, I think this card is like a house. Other than that, I just don't see the value really of this card, but I think in that wizard shell or like drafting like wizards, I think it's just going to be super cool. I think this card's sweet. Like, hello, yes, I'd like to give my team +1/+1 twice. Like, hello, that's sweet. Okay. Then, I love this card. We have Zahid, Djinn of the Lamp. Oh my god, I love this card. I think it's sweet. So, basically, let's just look at it in terms of, it can be a 6 mana 5/6 flyer, which is already sweet. However, if maybe you don't have 6 mana yet, you can pay 4 mana and tap an untapped artifact you control rather than pay its mana cost. So you're tapping something and paying 4 mana for a 5/6 flyer. What? This is great. Absolutely love this. I don't even think you care. You just tap whatever artifacts. You don't even care. There's so many sweet artifacts in this set that you're just like, whatever, do my thing. All I'm trying to do is film this video, and I'm getting interrupted by like a million things. Okay, anyways, so yeah, you just tap like an untapped, like an artifact you don't even care about, and then you just pay 4 mana for this thing. This card's incredible, and even if you don't have an untapped artifact, 6 mana for a 5/6 flyer is really sweet. Card's great. Alright, the next card is, I think this card's awesome. Slinn, Voda, the Rising Deep. I love cards like this, cards that are like basically Cyclonic Rift stapled onto a creature. Oh, love it. Okay, so he's a dude. I mean, he's like 6 mana for an 8/8, but you can pay an additional 2, so you'd be paying a total of 10 mana. But ETBs, if it was kicked, you return all creatures to their owner's hands, except for merfolk, krakens, leviathans, octopuses, and serpents. This card's incredible. I think it's fantastic. Even if you're not running like a ton of Merfolk and like all that kind of stuff, bouncing like all of your opponent's boards and then you're left with like an 8/8 is really sweet. I think this card's incredible and really sweet at an uncommon level. Definitely a lot of mana, but if you get that off in the late stages of the game, card's really good. Okay, then we have Merfolk Trickster. I think this card's really sweet at the uncommon level. So it's 2 mana for a 2/2 flash, which I just think is sweet. I'm a huge fan of that. I like Ambush Viper cards. I think they're great. It ETBs, you tap target creature and opponent controls, and it loses all abilities. I think this is just super strong. Like, it doesn't look like anything special, but I think it's really sweet. I love flash creatures. I love, like, you know, your opponent thinks they have lethal, and then you just, boom, flash this guy in. You can tap something when they go to enter combat, which is fantastic, and you have an additional blocker. And once it kind of ETBs does its thing, you just are left with a 2/2 for 2 mana. Card's really sweet. I'm very happy that it's 2 mana. I would have been like, I could see this being like a 3 mana thing. I think this card's sweet. Okay, then we have Sentinel of the Pearl Trident. Ooh, guys, awesome. So it's 5 mana for a 3/3 flash. I mean, yes, hello, we just talked about flash. It's great. Whenever this enters the battlefield, you may exile another target historic permanent you control. And if you do, you basically flicker it. So it comes back to the battlefield. What I really like about this card is a couple of things. It's really sweet if your opponent goes to like kill one of your things and you're just like, no, like I'm gonna remove it basically from the battlefield, which I think is fantastic. And it's a historic permanent, so they're probably trying to get rid of something that's really threatening. They're trying to get rid of like, you know, one of your big legendary dudes or something like that. So I think that's sweet. And then after that does its thing, you flicker, you save something from a removal spell pretty much. You know, you're just left with a 3/3 that blocks. It's got flash. Oh, I love this. I think this is such the tech. I think it's great. Like, you know, your opponent goes to cast something and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna like remove their creature, and then you're like 2 for 1 because you kind of counter in a way like the spell that they're doing to, you know, remove it, because that spell is like useless pretty much. So they do that, and then you're like, get this dude, I have an additional blocker for combat, like, and I've saved one of my sweet legendaries. Card's amazing. Okay, then we have Artificer's Assistant. This guy's cute. I like him. 1 mana, 1/1 flyer. Ooh, yay, fires. But when you cast a historic spell, you scry 1. It's not the best card in the set, but I do think it is really sweet. And I think it works really well in decks that are running, you know, a lot of like artifacts or legendaries or things like that. I really like scrying. I think it's decently underrated, so I think this card's pretty cool. And the last card, we're talking about one of my faves. Okay. Cloudreader Sphinx. The art on this card, though, just drives me kind of nuts. But, love this dude. Oh my gosh. This to me is, I can't think of the name of it, but this was in, what was it? It was an ally. I feel like there was an ally card that was very similar to this, if I'm remembering it correctly. But anyways, it's 5 mana, 3/4 flyer. Hello, yes, you could have stopped there and I would have been like, yes, I'm super happy with that. However, it enters the battlefield, you just get to scry 2. And this is a common, which is the best part. Super sweet mid-range card. Love slamming this down for 5 mana on turn 5. It'd be very emotionally okay with that. Again, love scrying, and then after that, you're like, sweet, I just have a 3/4 flyer. Love it. Card's great. Yeah, guys, that's it. I know I really didn't talk about that many blue cards. Like I said, I was pretty underwhelmed with it. I'd really like to know what you guys think about the colors as a whole. And that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the rest of this Dominaria series.